Questions about voter fraud are suddenly front and center here in Virginia. The governor says anyone who's not a citizen must be removed from the voter list. The federal government says his executive order so close to the election is illegal. But as Kate Nechterline explains, the bigger question may be if the issue is real. It's our top story at 5.
Now, about 3 weeks before Election Day, Virginia is still mandating the removal of people from the voter list. Governor Glenn Youngkin says this is imperative to preventing voter fraud, but others, including the federal government, see it very differently.
Voter fraud is a made-up problem, and it isn't called the big lie for nothing. It is a lie.
86% of Republicans and 33% of Democrats are concerned or very concerned about voter fraud. That from a recent NPR PBS Marist poll. Those numbers are high, Sabato says, because there is no evidence of voter fraud in our elections.
It's a fine system. It works well. And unfortunately, we've crossed yet another boundary where politicians, for their own interests, in order to capture elections, are ruining people's trust in our election system.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin disagrees.
This is a law that's been on our books since 2006, and it requires our election process and governors to use DMV data when an individual self-identifies as a non-citizen.
That may come down to a tiny checked or unchecked box.
You're registering for the first time and you leave off that checkbox at the top. So you don't necessarily say no, but you don't say yes either. That is a reason for us to deny the registration. It a lot of times is a mistake. It is the very first question in the top left corner. So a lot of people just tend to overlook it.
Taylor Yowell is the director of elections in Charlottesville. She says before Youngkin's executive order, the Department of Elections sent them 2 to 3 people to remove from the list each month. Now they get 4 to 5, though Yowell says that's likely because more people register closer to the election. The feds are now involved with the Youngkin order. The U.S. Justice Department says systemic removal efforts are prohibited during the 90 days leading up to Election Day. Sabato says that's because you can confuse voters and even deter them from heading to the polls.
They'll say, well, it doesn't look like the system's even fair and honest. Why should I bother to register? Why should I bother to vote? And that, in my view, is a mortal sin.
Youngkin has fired back, calling the federal move politically motivated.
Why is it that anyone could argue that a process that removes non-citizens off of our voter rolls is anything else other than common sense and constitutional? But this seems far more political than otherwise.
But Sabato says the governor has political motivations of his own.
He's catering to the Trump base of the Republican Party. It's that simple.
Yowell says if you have any questions about voting or the status of your registration, you can call the registrar. That information will be on our website. In Charlottesville, Kate Nechterline, 29 News.